Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, our praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash, Brakatham. Double honor shall go to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, the Great Millstone, and like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to the sincere Aquads who are continuously learning in silence, as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right. So yet another video today, Abaratazah, in regards to the third woe. I say it over and over again, Jakes. This is definitely mainstream, ongoing. No end in sight until Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai makes his triumphant return. All right? When he comes back as, not as a man, he's not going to meet up as a man like the scripture says, but he's going to meet up as an angelic being. All right? When he come back, you're going to see him hovering or standing on top of the Father's ship, cracking those clouds in the skies. All right? This is where we're heading. So, the lesson for today for me is going to be titled, "The Nations Are Mad." I repeat, the nations are mad. And as you can imagine, this is biblical prophecy. It's in the scriptures. Because what's going on now is that the surrounding Arab nations or the Ishmaelite nations in the Middle East are now turning against Babylon and those small hatters. All right? So this is going to be a quick video. Abaratazah. This video here is probably 5 minutes long. But the name of this video here is Arabs Rant Against Trump as U.S. Leaves Them Exposed. Uses air defenses only to save to save Israel from Iran. All right, so this is the beef that's going on right now. And like I said, this is biblical prophecy. And I will prove that. So I'm going to play this video in its entirety. But before I do so, fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act. For this video is strictly for education and edification purposes only. I'm not making a dime off this video. All right? So play this quick video and then pop up a couple of precepts to back up what I'm saying. And then we'll close it out. Let's go.
Is Donald Trump completely deserting America's most loyal Arab allies just to ensure the absolute survival of Benjamin Netanyahu and the state of Israel? While they focus on Tehran, is Trump and Netanyahu's devastating new war against Iran slowly bleeding America's most critical Gulf allies completely dry? Why has a senior Saudi official's explosive new interview lashing out directly at Donald Trump and Israel suddenly gone massively viral? Was the world's largest Saudi oil giant suddenly forced to shut down its most critical refinery immediately after a shocking and unexpected drone strike? Did Iran really deliberately target vulnerable gas and oil infrastructure across the Middle East right after systematically striking heavily defended US military assets? America's closest Middle East allies are now unexpectedly bearing the heavy brunt of the massive joint military operation launched by Israel and the US. Iran fiercely retaliated to the shocking assassination of its supreme leader Ali Khamenei by deliberately hitting US military bases and its regional allies. From Kuwait to the UAE and Iraq, relentless Iranian missiles and combat drones have dealt a major strategic blow across the entire Middle East region. A senior Saudi official's surprisingly candid interview with Al Jazeera harshly condemning President Donald Trump has triggered a massive diplomatic storm. The anonymous Riyadh official bitterly accused America of entirely prioritizing Israel's safety and deliberately ignoring the defense needs of its vulnerable Gulf allies. The Saudi Arabia official said, and I quote, "The US defense is focused on Israel, instead of the Gulf states, where many military bases are located. There is no doubt in my estimation that there is a kind of Gulf blame on the US partner that focuses on the security of Israel and the stability of Israel and the people of Israel, without considering the defense aspects of the Gulf states, which today are subjected to Iranian targets without the efforts of the US." These explosive remarks come precisely as the spiraling, multi-front military conflict officially entered its devastating third day in the volatile Middle East region. On March 2nd, Saudi Arabia's massive state-owned oil giant was directly struck by incoming Iranian suicide drones, according to reports by Reuters. The vital Saudi oil plant was reportedly set ablaze by falling debris right after two hostile Iranian drones were successfully intercepted by air defenses. Saudi Aramco's massive facility was then immediately shut down as a strict precautionary measure, even as the resulting fire quickly came under control. Saudi Aramco's critical Ras Tanura refinery being abruptly shut down immediately heightened global economic concerns over the stability of the international oil supply. Ras Tanura currently stands as one of the world's absolute largest oil export terminals and serves as a vital artery for the global crude supply. Global oil markets already actively witnessing extreme and unpredictable volatility due to Iran's relentless and widespread military retaliation across the Gulf. The ongoing military confrontation recently led to Iran's aggressive blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, successfully driving up crude oil prices globally. Iran's widespread retaliation has directly prompted the sudden shutdowns of multiple vital oil and natural gas facilities spread across the entire Middle East. Neighboring Qatar was also forcefully compelled to completely halt its massive production of liquefied natural gas on the morning of March 2nd. Qatari LNG currently makes up for roughly 20% of the entire global supply, playing a major foundational role for both Asian and EU energy markets. The state-owned Qatar Energy Corporation was forced to immediately halt all LNG shipments after a suspected Iranian drone violently struck the Ras Laffan industrial complex. However, Tehran's Deputy Foreign Minister, Majid Takhtravanchi, categorically rejected the widespread international claims that Iran deliberately attacked the Saudi oil infrastructure. This firm denial came directly following widespread reports of a fire breaking out after shrapnel from two intercepted drones heavily fell on the Ras Tanura facility.
All right. So that article was from the Hindustan Times. So I am definitely more susceptible to believing these foreign media outlets who are reporting this war than Babylonian media outlets. All right? Because simply put, Babylon is not winning this war. Israel is definitely not winning this war. So what do they have to do? They have to keep the lies going. So they gotta keep up those lies. All right? So what's going on now with these Gulf state nations are two things. Number one, their architecture buildings are being destroyed. Their airports are being destroyed. But more importantly, because of Babylon and those small hatters, their financial stability is becoming unstable. All right? So now these Ishmaelites are waking up and smelling the roses. That Babylon and those small hatters are not their friends. And it's going so far now that the king of the Saudis, he just came out in public along with a couple of other nations declaring that they are no longer going to continue to invest trillions of dollars into Babylon. They're going to withdraw their money from Babylon. So do you know what that's going to cause? That's definitely going to cause a major financial collapse here in Babylon. So again, you Jakes, I keep saying it over and over, watch, observe, and pray. Because I'll say it again, all these events that's taking place over there in the Middle East can and will affect you guys one way or another. It's already starting to do so. Gas prices are hiking sky high. And if this continues, and that Strait of Hormuz or whatever continues to be closed, as far as major shipping embargoes coming through that particular alley, you're going to start to see $100, $150 per barrel gas or oil. You're going to soon start seeing $10 per gallon or $15 per gallon of gas. All right. So let's get to a couple of precepts real quick. We're going to close it out. So Jeremiah 51:6, and it reads, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon." All right. So this means pretty much spiritually flee out of Babylon, meaning stop living as Babylonians. All right. Stop doing wickedness. Stop, accepting Babylonian wicked ways, customs, Christianity, big time. Cut all of that out and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity or her sins, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. And this is exactly what's going on now. The Lord's vengeance, which is going to lead up to Armageddon. He will render unto her a recompense or a payback. All right? Here's the point. Verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, meaning her philosophies, her ways of life, like I just mentioned. The nations have drunken of her wine or accepted her wicked ways. Therefore, the nations are mad. Woo! All right. So that's what's going on right now. The nations are mad at Babylon the Great and those small hatters. So because of this, according to Obadiah 1:2, it reads, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." Ooh. So this is definitely talking about Esau, Edom as a whole nation, but the nation within the nation, which would be those Amaleks, they are greatly despised. Because now you even have Amalek's own brethren of the Edomite race or nation that's coming up against them. All right? That's what's going on. And when we get to Revelation 17:16, it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Woo! So simply put, at this rate, Babylon is going to become so hated by the other nations, the beast, all right, that soon they're going to start firing their nukes up here in Babylon, up in here, all right? And as a result, it shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Boom. Kaboom. Those nukes. All right? It also, I mentioned this before and I'll say it again. It talks about those 200,000 horses, which is equivalent to 200 million missiles that's going to eventually be shot directly into Babylon the Great and those small hatters out there in fake ass Israel. You heard? So you Jakes, pay attention. I'll say it again. Be circumspect according to Ephesians 5:15, because it's only going to get worse. You heard? Shalaki. So that's going to conclude this valuable lesson for today. And as always, Abba Ratazah, Lord willing, true edification is brought forth. And with that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakak, Kodash, Brakatham, Kwam, Yasharala, Rise Israel. And as always, Abba Ratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.